Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special solo episode of interview episodes of the SWW show. As hopefully all of you know, I am Mike. The reason I'm doing this intro today is to tell you about the game about here, Garbage. We did not record an intro for the show because we kind of went in the conversation. Hope you guys enjoy. Just so you guys are well aware of, if you guys looking for it, the game is called Garbage. It is the bum fighting strategy game on Steam and currently on Kickstarter. This episode is releasing. Like normal, we're not saying back Kickstarter if you want or don't back Kickstarter. That's really a you decision, but just so you guys are well aware where to find the game, since I didn't do like a formal intro for the show. Hope you guys enjoy the intro. Explain to me how you come up with the game Garbage and what it's about.
Okay, so first of all, maybe I'll tell you that in the beginning, until we got to the stage where the game can be already be played and tested, the game was called Left in the Streets. So the whole idea was to create a fighting simulator because we really like the concept, and we noticed that in 2019 a lot of games were becoming more and more idle. So simulations and auto chess, like you can see that in League of Legends, Dota, and so far. We just like. We all came back to Lithuania, like me and my really good friend Donatas, who's the main programmer here. So he was without a job. I was just after my internship, so I had to write a bachelor thesis at that time. So we just thought, like, why not to go for our dreams and to create a game. So we noticed that two games that really had a big part of an influence for the style was Domina and Punch Club. Have you ever heard about them?
It sounds familiar, but no.
Okay, so I think one is from pretty well-known indie game studio, which is Tiny Build. You probably heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so and both games are pixel art. So we just wanted to take most of the fun out of those games, which is just automated fights. So you get the fight which is fully automated, but then you do all the homework when you're not fighting. So basically you're training, trying to survive, getting some kind of items. You can really be very creative in this genre because you don't spend that much time on developing, let's say, the fight itself. Everything is more like the whole work is when you're not fighting. So, to succeed in the fight, you have to survive, get items, so you can implement, RPG stuff, strategy stuff, survival stuff. So we basically like both of those games because they were fun and engaging. But then again, both of them had some of disadvantages that we didn't like. For example, in Punch Club, it was extremely slow game. So even if you go to YouTube and check out the how is it called the speed runs, right? It's
Games
like
quick and stuff.
Like 40 minutes speed run or like 4 hours speed run, which is it's very long game, and I fully understand that if you're a retro fan and you like pixel art. Maybe, a game that's like extremely fastly done, it's for 4 hours, it will suit you. But for me, I think it's a bit too slow. And Domina was extremely fast paced, but then it had no storyline, it had no city, no traveling, not much dialogues. It's very, very, very simulation type. So we just thought to take the best out of these games as an examples and just to transfer it into the 3D world. And and then when we thought about the game itself, like what it's going to be about, I mean, nowadays if you look at the just all gaming market, right? Except let's say Doom Eternal, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so like so many worlds and the stories that the games are in, they're just very templates. Like fantasy world with elves or like zombie survival. Like there's not really much new in those genres. And, none of us are really good writers. So, if you want to create a good RPG world with a lot of fantasy, like you have to, let's say, read a lot of fantasy books, right? So you can come up with the names, the stories, the characters, and so on. So we thought that, if we're doing a fighting simulator, it's got to be about fighting, right? So there was few ideas. Like we thought maybe to make a game about, like pirates or traders who are trying, to sell their fighters and so on. But then we thought like maybe we can come up with something more, let's say, extreme. So the thing that we had the survival implemented early on. So we just thought, the most realistic survival scenario nowadays is just being homeless. So yeah, and then everything came from there. That the resources are the scrap materials. Armor is just basic. Old clothes and so on. So yeah, that was the whole beginning of everything.
Okay, so obviously, one of the things that initially struck with me, so you had kind enough, so everyone knows, give me an older build of the game, as I think we established. It was like a month or so old. What initially caught my attention was, so when I start the game, like most games, you have a tutorial. The way you ask about the tutorial is interesting to me. You didn't ask, do I want to play a tutorial? You asked if I'd been homeless.
Yeah, I think this is part of the whole kind of satirical and humorous branding that we have. Because we like games that are really fun, not too depressive, not too sad, like some of games nowadays, when you look at their storyline, it's just you're going to countless of drama and problems and so on. This is a street fighting game, so we thought that it would be kind of a nice way to ask a person, and then after you hover on it, then it explains, right, that you will get a tutorial or multiple save files. So we thought that it would be a nice instant engagement for you to have a laugh, like why I'm choosing one out of these three options, right?
No, it's just one of those things that like immediately I was like, oh, you guys like are setting the tone immediately also of like you're like, no, at no point, like, obviously everything is gamified because it's a video game and you obviously are not trying to make this like uber complicated, like, but it's fascinating because you're like, oh, have you been homeless? Okay, great. Oh, you need to like train then immediately I like appreciate it. Before I get water or food or bed, you're like, you need to train yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you go through tutorial, right? The first thing is that it shows you like how to use the basic equipment. So like how to eat, how to cook food, and so on, how to take shower, and then you instantly get your first fight. You get beaten up, and basically that's why you start to train. When you click that you are homeless, basically that means you're playing this game in the right way to play it. That means there's no save files. It's hardcore mode. That means you got to go through all game without dying, and if you die, you start again. So basically, that means you're already playing the game. That's why you're homeless. So it's kind of inception with these answers.
Interesting. So let's jump into I think what was interesting, and I think this is where the survival aspect thing comes in, which is the direct loop you're having these characters go on, right? So you start us out in this nice fun camp, fun in quotes, obviously you're homeless, and we go in there, we go, okay, let's create a training ground. Great, let's create our bed, let's create our garden, let's get our water supply going. Was there any concern that this loop at any point becomes too just by default? Or like what was your balance of like the loop being fun versus like just being the same?
Yeah. So that would be a perfect example with Domina and Punch Club. So in Domina, there is nowhere you can get out of your training ground. So basically, you're just training all the time, and that's the only loop you're in. So that's like a pure simulation. And in Punch Club, you could go around other places, meet characters, buy food, train in different places, then get work in different places. So what we wanted to do is that you have a place where the time like it's running. So when you're in the home base, the time is running. That means your time, how you spend it, you decide how do you spend the time. So maybe you fully train all the time. Maybe you grow something. Maybe you do something different. And then the whole storyline is pushing you forward always to train more when you come back. Because when you get out of your home base, the time basically stops. So that means that from that point, when you're out of the house, it's more kind of a point and click quest type of game, but you choose what to fight, you choose which characters you want to help or fight. So I think that is the main thing, that we just wanted to have some upgrades, and then by limiting resources that you get out of every new area that you find, you can upgrade your buildings. So you're constantly upgrading, and by choosing what you're upgrading, you're basically, making like the choices for your future path. Because, you can try a few different things, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to work if you max up your shower in the early game, and then, in the late game, you're going to probably die. So I think it's just, giving player options where to spend more time. I would say like that. It's a simulation. If we're a small team, we can't really allow ourselves making the home base so extremely interesting and many upgrades, and that it would look not generic, because it's not the main thing of the game, because there's different aspects. So I think that's how we look at the home base. We spend a lot of time there, but it's not the whole game in the base.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely noticed that too, because initially I was like, oh, this feels like something that would be like the entire time of the game, and then very quickly it's turned into not, of like, instead it's, oh, we're gonna leave this base a bit, we're gonna go train, and then I'm gonna go other spots, collect loot, come back. The thing that I think maybe could be the demo I had, because again, from us talking, demo a little older, so stuff changes all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, but yeah.
So I was going to say, one of the things that caught me off guard is gaining the second person.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, as I kept going, this is kind of like where I kind of stopped playing after a little bit after gaining the second person. Is the goal then to just start, I hate to say army, but like, is the goal at that point, I assume, to create this giant entire village of homeless fighters and then just go conquer the world?
Well, that's again what we decided to leave for the player's choice. You can, because in almost every area outside the house, there's few choices that you can do. That means every time if you're replaying the game, you can choose different options and get second character earlier or later on. And you can, if you have two characters, that means you have to spend more food. So again, it's for player to choose. Either you want to, play it more as a RPG game and max everything on one character and then have enough food to survive, or maybe have two characters and one character is constantly, begging for food, cash, or just cooking something. Mm-hmm. So I think, we're giving a player as much as possible choices, and that way we try to increase replayability of the game, because we think that a hardcore player would always choose to play the game without save files. So, every time you're trying to get to the end of the game, you have a lot of options to try again, Maybe it wasn't the right choice you did last time, so, you can keep changing your next game, if you can't survive.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. So let's talk about what I would argue is one of the reasons I feel like you like doing interviews right now. You guys are also, as we're talking about this, and as this episode will air, you guys are currently on Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's right. To be honest, it's the second time we're launching it because we kind of went to Kickstarter totally blindfolded, and that was just our team kind of small small that went like later on we noticed that it wasn't even small experiment, but yeah, we just wanted to see what Kickstarter is, and then after not really be able to gather the first amount, we failed the first Kickstarter. We really learned a lot from our mistakes, and yeah, we're relaunching the Kickstarter just because as a three developers team, we don't have much resources and time for marketing. So I think we're not losing anything by relaunching the Kickstarter because it took us about 2 months to, prepare the whole content. So why not reuse it,
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. So let's start with the obvious thing. How are you feeling on your Kickstarter so far?
Well, right now everything's pretty well. I mean, on the first day we got about 20% of our whole goal. But from what we've seen, because we're trying to track, we don't have much data, and it's not a huge community, but there's already some people who are backing us, who backed us on the first project, and they found us via Kickstarter. So there's few friends who are really interested into the game. So yeah, the backers look a little bit more active than last time, but maybe not that engaged into this Kickstarter just because it's a relaunch, and because the date it's 60 days left. So from what we learned is that 35 days is like the golden middle, because it creates some kind of an urgency, and we chose this time 60 days just because from now on another 60 days and maybe then another 30 or 40 days and we're trying to launch the game. So we just wanted to extend, let's say, the time that we're on the internet and we can interact with our backers and share our devlogs both on Steam, both on Discord, both on Kickstarter. So I have a little bit more cross-platforming marketing here.
So I'm going to ask the obvious question here. If the Kickstarter fails, are you guys still launching the game in September?
Yeah, I mean, with exact date of launch, it's always very difficult.
September-ish. Let me phrase that.
Yeah, September-ish. Yeah, October, September. Yeah, that's the thing that we just thought this is our first project. I mean, we had a lot of experience in project before, but none of those were actually ours,
Mm-hmm.
And now we're doing this like extremely local, So yeah, I mean, we counted out our budget, and it really depends how are we going to perform by launching the early access. If it's going to be amazing, we're going to use all the funds to finish up the game to put it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, our budget is pretty much depleted, so we're just trying our best, to launch the game in about a few months.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the answer would be nothing would change, basically.
Nothing would change.
Yeah, we will probably just have less stressful last few months before the launch. And then, and then, it would just basically help us out to get those 2,000 pounds. It would, maybe we can spend a few more $100 on marketing, maybe some voiceovers, basically some physical money that right now we don't really have. So that would just help us to finish it without any stress, and then, fill in some of the gaps that are left.
So as we get to turn on to this, I gotta ask you the question. So obviously one of the big things I argue is that makes you guys very RPG-ish is you have a combat tree to train, you have said, Homeless Man.
Yeah.
What is your favorite strategy for stacking my deck of combat? Like, what did like
Oh,
if I could, you could pick your 5 skills or 2 skills. What does every homeless guy have to you?
that's a good one. We're going by the traditional rock paper scissors how to say fighting mechanics, right? But I would say that strength is my least favorite because he is like most kind of a paladin. It's good in everything. So yeah, I would say it's trying to get the trainer as fast as you can, and then go full on all agility and trying to get some really like strong skills early, and then you just super fast killing everyone really quickly. But then I'm trying not to get the second character because I'm running out of food. So I would say agility and going, trying to get the trainer as fast as you can.
Okay, nice. Okay. Um, Other thing I have for you, looking at this, then when you play it, so my issue is food automatically. Is there anything that have you gotten to the point now where you could just make a loop and it's real easy, or do you have a thing that you still like you run out of that, so you expect every player that this to be like your pain point of like when you're creating this loop?
Well, that well, it's hard to say because to one point, I mean, the demo that you received is basically like the last official demo. I mean, it was maybe not really properly tested, but it's full 2 districts. So everything is pretty much balanced out. But when we had only few testers in our team, that was like, let's say 4 or 5 months ago, people were extremely frustrated of not getting enough food. And because we're trying to make a game that is constantly pushing you forward to learn and adapt and replay the game, we wanted to make it hard, but then even the testers who played the game for many times said it's a bit too hard. So what we did is we just implemented another 3 or 4 food sources, how to get them. And now the game is relatively easy if you're playing it not for the first time. So I would say that where we're stuck right now is balancing out the difficulty for the food that you acquire. Because right now there's a lot of sources that you can get it, but then again, those who played the game many times, they kind of already get the system. So I would say this is where we're stuck right now with the balancing, but yeah, I would say that's the main thing.
Perfect. Okay. Well, let's see if we get this all right for you and give you some Kickstarter backers and maybe some wish lists. So the game is garbage. That is right. Garbage. We're not saying the quality of the game. We're saying the name of the game here. It's garbage. You guys are planning to come out in early access some point in September-ish. Asterisks. Game development is hard. So wish list that on Steam, I assume. The game is garbage on Kickstarter. I assume if I just go Kickstarter and search garbage, it'll pop up. It is the game that has 5 nicely looking homeless men, one of them with only underwear, or 2 with only underwear in the back image. I like your stylized art for that one. And it's garbage. The bum fighting strategy game.
You're making the whole team smile right now. A little bit about the image. The middle and the corner guys, they're homeless. The 2 guys in between, they are cooks, basically, who are one of the main quest givers and your friends throughout the 1st and 2nd districts. So one is Bob, the one with the hot dog hat, and the other is Tony, which is ex-criminal, and now he's just cooking pizzas, you know?
Tony Macaroni.
Yeah, Tony Macaroni. Yeah,
Tony Macaroni. As an Italian, I'm going to have to file some complaint about this one, but we'll accept it for now.
Yeah. So and that's what we're trying to do because our designer, which funny thing, I mean, maybe an interesting fact about our team is my brother. So he's doing all the art, and I mean he had a talent to draw on paper since he was young, but right now we just at one point, we had some, let's say, harsh commentary on our let's say footage and gameplays in Reddit and in YouTube, that the game looks like extremely, like the graphics are really bad and there's nothing interesting and so on. But we thought that there's still we still want to create a good storyline, and the storyline is pretty decent and it's really funny. So we just thought that just to keep player feeling that he's progressing, not just opening new map and then kicking some ass and going further. We just created these whole comics for almost every map, and yeah, soon we're gonna try to make a voiceover for it and so on. So so you have a feeling that even if it's an indie game, we put a lot of time just to have this 2D kind of fairy tale about a homeless guy who's trying to become the savior of the streets. So yeah, we're putting a lot of effort for the whole comics and 2D graphics.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, again, thank you for joining me. Best of luck in your remaining Kickstarter, and people wishlist this game on Steam and all of the other places people wishlist games. Obviously, I'm going to put the asterisk of I had an older build, but generally speaking, I did enjoy the game, and I'm excited to see kind of how the game ends up and how it goes once we get to this launch version of the game, and I look forward to playing it.
Yeah, that's really nice. I mean, in another few weeks, we're probably gonna send you over the demo with one more district that's fully done. We just posted this on our Steam, and yeah, the whole interface is updated. So there's a lot of updates coming, and I mean, in these last 2-3 months, you will see how the game will finally form to the early access position.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so it was really nice to talk to you.
Great. Well, you enjoy the rest of, I guess, your evening. Time zones are fun.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This podcast was a production of the SWW Show. To learn more, go to theswwshow.com. Remember, you can follow the show on Twitter at the SWW Show. You can follow me at Mikey_Maroney. You can follow AJ at LowSeatBoy. Remember, new episodes premiere on Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time on anchor.fm/SWW and podcast services around the globe.